minds think alike. Great minds podcast. Great minds think alike. Great minds podcast. Great minds think alike. Great minds podcast. Great minds think alike. Let's rock. You're now tuned into the Great Minds podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds.
All right, welcome to the Great Minds podcast. This is Derrick.
This is Vaughn.
And thank you for joining us today for year two. Year two. This is the
yeah, you're right. It is year two.
First episode of our second year, so we completed the full year. Appreciate y'all watching, listening,
subbing,
following, sharing, and everything. And a few people hit me up congratulating us or whatever the case is. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. I mean, we couldn't keep it up if it wasn't for the people that supported us. Whether you watched one episode, 10, all 55 of them.
Yeah, 55, right?
We got people that did a little bit of that. Or if you're starting on this episode, I mean, either way, we, appreciate the love. So
definitely appreciate that.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a kind of heavy topic, toxic masculinity. Vaughn to get into, kind of the definition of it in case, you want to know about it a little bit more in depth. But doing my own research on the topic, a lot of it kind of, it's a lot of stuff that you even do subconsciously as a father. Some people may do it as a husband or whatever the case is. And,
definitely.
And some people are affected by it that don't even realize they are. You got women that are affected by it because of, their husband or boyfriend or whatever has been affected by it.
Yeah.
But we'll tap in a little bit more into that. So Vaughn's going to tap into a little bit of the definition before we get started.
Well, all right. So this is paraphrasing, but toxic masculinity involves cultural pressures for men to behave in a certain way. Toxic masculinity refers to the notion that some people's idea of manliness perpetuates domination, homophobia, and aggression. So what kind of made this thing kind of pop out to me, right? So I was watching TV, and I'm not gonna say the show, but I was watching the show, and there was a scene. It comes on, dudes at a party, him and his girls at the party. They're of age, so they're not underage or anything like that. So I think they're in college. So they pop a pill, Molly or something like that. So there's no words being said, but you see him and his girl kiss, and then you see a dude sitting next to his girl kiss his girl, and then you see him kiss the dude, right? So, but then it goes off, right? So you don't know what happened. You kind of have an idea, but you really don't know what happens. So the next day, he comes in, goes to his boys like, yo, I had a threesome yesterday. They're like, word? Yo, who was the chick, yo? He was like, yeah, I know she was bad, right? He was like, it wasn't a chick. They're like, whoa, relax. What do you mean it wasn't a chick? Like, it was Barry or whatever. Like, Barry, like, yo, it was like, so you go that way. And he's like, nah, I'm not gay. They was like, yo, yes, you are. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't say that. So once the whole show goes off like that, he's basically trying to tell them, like, yo, you guys know me for all these years. I did something once, and I didn't like it. I'm not gay. They're like, yo, nah, you did it once, you gay. It doesn't matter what you say, right?
Right.
So the whole episode is him trying to prove to them that, like, yo, I'm not gay. And they're saying, like, yo, you are. And they start treating them differently. They're like, yo, they ain't trying to kick with him like they used to. They're not hanging out. He's like, yo, you're supposed to be tight. Y'all not even chilling with me no more because of something like that.
Right.
So that made me think about it. And then fast forward the episode, they start realizing, like, yo, that's kind of toxic. Like, the way we treat him is wrong. Like, it's the same dude we've been chilling with for like 3 years, and now because we heard something that we don't agree with, we like, yo, it's a wrap. So that made me kind of start turning in my head like, yo, that's a major topic, like a major thing. So I thought it'd be good we tap into that.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because like they'll have an issue with like hanging out with him for his own personal choice, but like they'll hang with somebody that like, I don't know, rob somebody. You know what I'm saying?
But they say stuff that people would say, either subconscious, like, yo, like, nah, it's another girl, you were good. Once the dude got involved, like, nah, it's a different thing, right?
Yeah.
And in some parts, I agree with some of that stuff, right? But it's like, yo, why do we agree with that? Like
Right.
what's in our head? Like, what have we been taught? And I wouldn't say taught, but culturally, you know what I'm saying? That makes us think that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I guess we could just transition right into like homophobia, right?
Yeah.
So we have people that like just don't like gay people for whatever reason.
Yep.
Me personally, it doesn't affect me at all. A person's a person. In my experience, anybody you know that, you know, maybe gay or maybe whatever, they're not interested in you if you're not doing that stuff. Like, just like you're paying more attention to them than vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So I never really understood why, like, you know, and again, it could be like the way you're raised, right?
Yeah.
You could be like, you know, it could be your dad, it could be like a
Uncle, cousin.
uncle, a old school grandmother, whatever, you
Yeah.
know, that just kind of condemns that behavior, and it just like, you know, that kind of formulates your opinion, and that's toxic. Like you know, the farther you go back, I think the more you see of it. I think it's more normalized a little bit now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think like, you know, the way people are brought up and things like that, that causes that issue. And
Think about, I mean, cut you off, but think about from when you're born, right? Or when you see stuff. So it's already embedded in you from when you're born, right? So it's like, all right, the boy has blue, the girl has pink.
right,
From the rip, right? That's what they have, right? The boy has a G.I. Joe, the girl has a doll, right? So it's what you grow up seeing, right? So it becomes part of your nature. Say if a boy or say if a girl wants to play with the G.I. Joe,
mm-hmm.
right? Everyone's kind of like, all right, okay. Like, nah, play with the doll. Maybe she want to play with the doll. Because maybe she don't. Say the little boy is like, yo, he wanna play with the doll. He could just pick the doll up. People look at that sometimes weird. People
Right.
like, nah, stay in your lane. So that stays in the kid's head, in our minds too, just as being like as growing up. And we're like, yo, so when we see somebody that does something a little different than what we are used to doing, we're like, yo, what is that?
Right.
Like, nah, it's different. You know what I'm saying? To the homophobia thing is crazy. I always tell people, like, how dare you think so highly of yourself to think that that gay person likes you? Like, out of all
Right.
people in the world, like he or she gonna like you.
Just
like
yeah, it's just like a person that's heterosexual, they don't like every male. Like,
exactly.
and then for the most part, like the only way I think you should have an issue with that, and this is not homophobia, is like when a person is like like the person's trying to come on to you when you made it clear that you're not into that.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's disrespect either way. Like a male
Either way.
doing that to a woman or vice versa. But other than that, like what are you worried about? Like I always felt like people like that are like who are really, really bothered by it. I'm not talking about people that said like pause and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
people that are really, really bothered by it, like I think there's some type of insecurities there.
It's definitely insecurities there.
One
Yeah.
or the other side of it, it's been so embedded in their upbringing that it's just like yo, you know what I'm saying? Like they have they raise a red flag for them, I should say.
Because basically it's toxic because you automatically think the negative connotation about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you've been embedded in your mind that you have that phobia of that because all you have is your pride, right? So that's one thing that gets people killed and hurt, their pride, right? You lose a lot of things over pride. So you look at what's going on in the world, a lot of things can be squashed if people just say, all right, swallow their pride, right? But why not swallowing their pride? Because they don't, sometimes that's all they have is pride.
Right.
Because of how they were brought up. So that's toxic in itself. So you got dudes in jail because of stuff like that. You got people getting killed for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? People doing certain things all because of that toxic masculinity. Now, it could be, we can speak about the female aspect of it too, but we're not females. so
Right.
I don't want to, but we know that there's actually females that also, I would say, enforce that toxic masculinity too on their son. You know, it's no way your 5-year-old is the man of the house. Like, no, he's not. Like, he crazy? Like, let him act like a 5-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't, if your 5-year-old falls or your girl falls and you take the wipe her off and tell her don't worry about it. But if your son fall, you tell him don't cry.
Right.
Suck it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he remembers that. You know what I mean?
And yeah, that's kind of the next topic I wanted to get into as well. And before we move on, it's the same thing with like gay and trans. I think that's all in the same. And I think people are more have a more of a phobia for, you know, trans people, which I mean, again, that doesn't affect me in any way, you know.
Yeah,
But
it shouldn't matter as long as someone's
right,
happy. You know what I mean? As long as someone's happy, why should you really care?
right. All
But
right.
you know,
So fathers raising sons versus fathers and parents raising sons versus parents raising daughters, right? And I mean, I'm guilty of it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to like, because I think what happens is, like you said, your son falls, he starts crying. You're like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And just because that's the way you may have grown up, or your dad or uncles or whoever was the male figure in your life, they treat like all people aren't built the same, you know.
yeah,
So it's like, you know, sometimes you have to allow your son to like cry, because I I think what happens is when that happens, you're not allowing them to like feel, right?
yeah.
So I remember Doc's had a video, right?
Hmm.
And his son was crying or something like that. I don't want to, you know, misquote the situation, but anyway, he had like a thread. Basically, he was like, don't ask your kids what's wrong, ask them like, what do they feel? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And ever since I said that, you know, I saw that kind of resonated with me. Like, when you say what's wrong, it's kind of like, it's not
It's a
always something
bad thing. It's a bad thing.
exactly, rather than like what you feel. And I think like, I think what happens is, if you continue to do that, and I'm working on that too. If you continue to do that, you're not allowing your son to feel, and that transitions to everything. That transitions to like life. That transitions to his future relationships. That transfers, because what happens is, like, he was never able to like cry as a kid, because
Hmm.
he knew somebody would be on him, whether it was mom or dad. That's one. Two, it's like, all right, so now he's building these friendships and relationships, get a girlfriend. Like, he never had an opportunity to like, you know, express himself a lot of times.
Yeah.
So now he's not a great communicator when something's upset, because his dad or his uncle, his mom, whatever, never let him cry. So they end up in this relationship. They're like 30, and it's like, you know, it started when he was 5 or 4 years old. You
Definitely.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta let your kids experience like the different emotions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's a male or female crying. You know, I know definitely in my household, what I've tried to do, I've always did it because I had my daughter first. So having my daughter had me look at things totally different. As far as like, you know, I would be a little bit of both, know when to turn it on and when to turn it off with her. Like I know, you know, how to walk that line, and but the same thing I do with my son too.
Right.
So I think having a girl, and then having a girl that's played sports and doing certain things where, you know, you're trying to push her to do certain things, but you kind of falling back and kind of letting it kind of fall into place. But at the same time, I'm not babying her, you know. So I want her to be strong as well. But again, if she would fall, you would run to pick her up, make sure she's good. My son fall, I'll do the same thing. I run and pick him up, and I make him
A little
laugh. And
slower.
yeah,
Run over those.
well, what I do is I let him express why he's mad. You know what I'm saying? Oh, why he said what's going on. To say, all right, what happened? You know, what'd you do? And he'll say, oh, Sissy didn't buy me anything from McDonald's when he went to the store. Like something like that. I'm like, come on, you really mad about that? Like, why are you mad about that? But I'll let him get it out. Like I'll
Yeah,
let, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Exactly. You let him get his reasoning out. So yeah, that's good. And the other thing I was gonna say is, like, on the side of the parents, it's like you try to toe a line, right? Because you you're doing it with good intentions. You want your kids to be tough. You want your kids to have thick skin. So you want all those things, because as an adult, you know how valuable it is to have that, like in sports, um,
Yeah.
jobs, relationships, like things like that, to be strong in a sense. So you do that, or you tell them don't cry a lot of times, at least from my experience, because you know what they're gonna face in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But
You're trying to prepare them for that.
right, but you know, in looking back, I think you have to pace yourself as a parent too, right? Like, if your
Mm-hmm.
child's 5, I know what you're trying to do for them when they turn 15, but like, you got to do
No,
it gradually,
yeah, you can't treat a 5-year-old like a 13, 14-year-old or
right?
15-year-old. You can't do that.
So I think, you know, you know, if they fall at 5 and they're crying, and they fall at 10, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you have that conversation where it's like, yo, come on, you're gonna be in 6th grade soon, or you're gonna be in middle school soon. Someone sees
Yeah.
you doing that, instead of just, spazzing on them. Because I think a lot of times, like a lot of it is toxic and it's not even realized. Like there's
Yeah, subconscious stuff. It's
yeah.
not done on purpose. You know what I'm saying? And
Now
and I think what you gonna say?
I was gonna say there's a different type of like straight up toxic with like, yo, if you like Joe Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Like if you
Yo, Joe made stars, man.
yeah, he did. He did. But look what happened to Michael Jackson, right? Like
True.
look at Michael Jackson wanted to. I'm not saying he did anything with kids, but like he didn't get his childhood till he was 30.
Yeah. He was old. He was trying to live his childhood.
Now
Yeah, true.
that's upfront toxic masculinity. But in Joe's defense, he was trying to like get them ready for the harsh realities of the road. He knew what hard work would amount to or could
Yeah.
amount to, and they got it. But it's just like at what cost?
But I think in that case, or not just his case, but any like child like when you have that pressure on you to do that, I think those kids are always going to go through more than the average kid, regardless.
True.
So it's like they're gonna always miss something because you can't have both, right? While you're trying to grab one, one's getting away, right? So you can't go chill with your friends or go to that party because you got a show to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you never gonna get that time back. So I think that's kind of tough. Like, I don't even know. I think if you're not if you're not hard with that, the kid won't be in that age. It won't be successful. But you still have to let him or her be a kid as they get to a certain point. Because some kids stop acting. They'll be 15 years old, like 16. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do my junior year of high school.
Yeah,
And
burn
then
them out.
go to college because they want to go back to being like a regular kid or do regular stuff. Then maybe come back to the business when they're like 22, 23, but have like 5-6 years and they just like off the grid.
Right, when they're able to experience some things too.
Word.
And
Definitely.
I want to get back to the part where you were like, you see women like, yo, this my king. Like, yo, this kid is 3. He's not your king. He can't even spell king.
He ain't your king, respectfully. He's
Yeah,
not your king.
respectfully. So that you're putting this immense pressure on a kid that just wants to play with blocks, that just wants to watch Baby Bus on TV. You know what I'm saying? So you put that on them, and then they start behaving like that. Like they start behaving like that. And like, yo, man, go ride your bike. Get your training wheels off, man.
Yeah, like you worry about something else you shouldn't be worried about. But that's again, that's parents putting that extra pressure. But sometimes it might be unintentional.
It is a lot of time, and I'm not blaming the mothers for that. Again, that's in the same light of like you trying to make your kid or your son in particular tough, right? They're trying to like say this is my king because a lot of times when they say that, the dad's not around, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd be calling him your prince.
Yeah, you call you king. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the ladies have to watch that too, just like the males have to watch the, trying to toughen up your kid too early without like pacing yourself, because it's just like, you're making them adult or you're making them grown beforehand, and then like, who knows what happened? I think about the movie Malcolm and Marie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish we had more insight on like what Malcolm like,
upbringing type of thing.
Yeah, we can assume, what I'm saying? We can assume that either he lived in like a household where maybe his dad always yelled at his mom, so you picked that. That's direct toxic masculinity right there.
Yeah, direct.
Or a situation where his dad wasn't around or whatever. But I think about when I think about that, I think about him the way he even spoke to the girl in there. Oh yeah, a lot of times, just crazy.
It was very dismissive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, very dismissive, and that's it's a learned trait, I guess you can say.
Right.
But then sometimes it could not be, right? Because you can have some circumstances where the father is A1.
Right.
The mom is A1 and the son's a jerk or the daughter's a jerk.
It just happens.
It happens sometimes.
You got people that grow up in the church and their son is in jail for something.
But those kids are tough. It's tough to be like a preacher's son.
Yeah, the expectations are off the wall.
It's crazy. So I can kind of see how that can kind of happen with some kids. That's tough.
But I see like people that are like, maybe they're not married and they're still in the dating pool, and it's like they're getting people with like tons of baggage, right? So I think a lot of that starts like, you know, from early on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From kids having to be tough all the time, and then like this person is like, yo, you know, it's better. A lot of times in relationships, if you just put it all out there, one way or another, you figure it out. Either you're gonna deal with it or you're not.
But the older you get, the harder to do that.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
So because the more baggage you have with you, and then like time is running out. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like if you start dating somebody when you're 40, you know, it's 40 years that they lived before you.
Oh yeah.
Got mad different things going on.
Yep.
So it's kind of tough, man. But you're right, communicating, and that's one thing that I think you learn at an age like 4 or 5. You know, if you are allowed to communicate and express yourself, you know, I think that pays dividends as you get older.
Right. And I, you know, before even like researching the topic, I would never think like a kid that was, you know, pushed to be tough or pushed to be like his mom's king, you know, would have like that type of long-term effects. But I think sometimes women are like, yo, why is he like this? You know what I'm saying? He's been the king since he was 3.
He was 3, been the king. Yeah, you can't come in and feel like a king like you want to. And then, but then also it's culturally too, right? Certain cultures do certain things differently. So it's like, yeah, I know certain cultures where it's like, yo, the man isn't asked to do anything. All he's asked to do
Work.
is basically work. And when he comes home, yo, food's ready for him. No, he'll have a little finger at the crib. It's just work, right? So if you grow up seeing that in whatever culture that is, you like, all right, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So then when you a son, you see that, like, yo, that's what dad was doing. Now you get older, you get a girl or wife, she's like, yo, you ain't gonna have dinner ready, you gotta do it yourself. Like, whoa, got a problem.
Oh, I can't cook.
I can't cook. It's a problem. So then that changes everything, you know, the whole dynamic too. So
I think those conversations have to be had too, right? So like, if it's a situation, if I have a situation where like food's ready for me, like I think it's on the father or, you know, the mother or the parents to be like, look, you know, I think that's a dad-son talk. Like, look, this is what I do. Just know going forward, you might not have a situation like this. It's great.
But nobody thinking about that. Like, all right, no, we'll get to that towards the end, right? But like when you go and do that, you're not thinking like, yo, I need to put my son on the game or my daughter on the game now. That this is how my relationship is, might not be how yours is, right? But no one thinking about that. You're just day-to-day doing your thing. You don't want to think about your daughter dating, or you want to think about that at a certain point. You're gonna have to deal with that, but you don't care. You don't want to think about that.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? But like your son, and also dating is it toxic, right? That we treat the way our sons date and the way our daughters date totally different, right? That's a toxic thing to me too. I feel that's part of that.
Yeah, you know I agree.
So it's one of those things that I don't know if you're thinking about it at that time, you know, to put them on the game like that.
Well, I've even had conversations with people, and this is toxic too, and it's a double standard. If you have a son or a daughter, I have people say to me like, "Yo, I would rather my daughter be gay than my son."
Yeah, I heard that too. And that comes to the homophobia thing, and that comes down to the way you thinking, and it's where it's. We'll talk about how you kind of break out of that thought process, and the reason why we're bringing this up is that I think we all deal with that. So this is a topic that I think, speaking from a male point of view, right? I think all males deal with this stuff. We have that fighting dilemma in our head about, you know, like toxic thoughts, right? And I mean toxic in a bad way on purpose, but the way we move with certain things, the way we act with certain things, the way we say certain things. You know what I'm saying? I could say, yo, I hate sandals. That could be toxic, right? I never liked sandals, but I never wore sandals in my life. But
facts.
Yeah, facts. Never did that. But why I never did it? My mom never put me in sandals, really. Never. I can remember maybe when I was like 2 or 1, but as like a 5-year-old and up, never. Now, maybe she thought it was a certain way. So, and then that is it. Now that's part of my mindset. Like
I'm not putting this on my son. No shot.
No shot. For real. So you're right, man. It's crazy.
But even like wearing certain shirts, right? So like shirts.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some people won't put their son in a pink shirt.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say that because it's funny that I think when you're confident in yourself, you don't care about none of that stuff. And I think
As an adult, though.
As an adult, but I think even like in high school, I didn't care about it like that. But I'm older, you know what I'm saying? But as like a 11-year-old, 10-year-old, that's different thought process, you know what I'm saying?
You know, I won't even say pink, right? I'm not gonna say pink because I don't think pink's like that thing anymore. Yeah. Like some people won't put their son in the rainbow shirt. Like the rainbow's not the rainbow anymore. It's not like no, it's not.
Yeah. So you mean like a shirt, a tie-dye shirt? Or you mean
like a tie-dye shirt? Like I think some people would think.
Or you mean a white shirt with the rainbow on it?
Just like a tie-dye shirt with different colors in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you go to like certain stores, there's like sections and
like pride section or whatever,
yeah, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But like it's even toxic if like a person's son. Now I'm not saying I disagree or agree with it, but like they'd be like, "Dad, I want the shirt." Nah, you're not getting that shirt.
Yo, my thing is, but why?
Because it's part of being homophobic a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
It's 100%. No, I'm playing devil's advocate. It's definitely because of being homophobic. But why? Like what in your brain?
The shirt. The shirt's not gonna make the person gay or not. I get that, but I think I think people growing up in certain eras, even our era, you know what I'm saying, are just so focused and just be like, nah, you gotta get another shirt. That's it. Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. I ain't buying that shirt.
And there's certain people just don't like the agenda being pushed either. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people might not be necessarily homophobic, but they're not gonna they don't think it should be everywhere either.
True. We're gonna talk about that too. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into social norms.
Into it.
Social norms. I think you hit one of them, like with the the mother like cooking the meals or whatever, and the dad having to do nothing but work. What other ones you got in mind?
Man, we got that. We got even we can even put like us saying pause for everything. Pause and no homo for everything, right? Back in the day, especially not really as much now, but back in the day, that's what we were saying for everything.
Right.
I guarantee you, 98% of the people listen to this pod will be saying the same exact thing. If not, you lying, right? Because it was taken differently. You know what I'm saying? But it was more like you didn't even have to even say that. So it was kind of like to the point where you would say something like that, and then like think about like, damn, why did I even say that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's like a social norm that we would currently do, but like that, the clothing, like you said, certain clothing, I just think people's thought process on certain things that they see, like anything that's different, like you can sit there and see, and we'll get to it later, but you can see something on TV or just in general in society, like all right, like PDA, right? Public displays of affection. I don't mind that. I don't care who it is. I don't care boy, girl, boy. I don't care. But at the same time, I don't need to see it everywhere too. I don't care if it's male, or female, male. I don't care. Like if I'm sitting there and you with your 2-year-old, 3-year-old son or daughter, or even 8, 9, I don't want to see two adults just tonguing right in front of them.
Yeah, give me a heads up.
Give me a heads up, right? But I don't care if it's same sex or opposite sex. That's just how I see it though. But some people might say, yo, same sex, no. Opposite sex, all good. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's the same thing when it comes to that, you know. But that's kind of what I think of top of my head. How about you with social norm?
Yeah, that's part of it. The stuff that's on TV, even on like younger kid shows, you know.
Yeah.
And it is being normalized. I think there was I want to say there's a Disney show, maybe. I could be wrong with gay characters. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think as long as, you know, as a heads up, I think you as a parent just have to make that decision. They want to do it. Go ahead.
I think they don't give you the heads up. I think that's what people kind of get kind of ticked off about with certain things, right? So like we know certain shows, man, certain great shows like that. Like you look at like Modern Family is one of my favorite shows that I watch like every day. Show's great, and you have a gay couple in that, but you don't even really see it like that. You know what I'm saying? it's just like if you watching in any show on TV and you see a sex scene, it should make sense for the show, right? Like it should make sense what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
When I see a sex scene and it doesn't make any sense, why are you showing it?
Like just random, like they just had to fit a certain quota.
Like prime example, damn, what's the show?
Power Book?
Nah, not Power Book. Damn, Empire back in the day, right? Empire a couple years ago. I watched the show only because I was invested in it, so I watched it to the end. But it got to a point where it was just like sex scenes for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Like it'll be something where like what's my man that got caught up with the joint, Jussie Smollett, whatever.
Yeah.
What Dave Chappelle call him, Juicy Smollett.
Juicy Smollett or something.
Juicy Smollett. Yo, when he got caught out there, and he was just having a scene, and like you could skip the scene. He just sitting there like hugging and kissing and doing stuff like that with like with another dude. But like, there's no point for that in the show, like for the scene. So it's like, yo, you just did that for like, why did you put that in the show?
Yeah.
Now, say if you watching the show with like kids, right? Because a lot of kids watch that show too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like sometimes they put things that you have to explain to your kids before you're ready to explain.
Ready to do it, right?
So and that goes for anything. Like it could be a regular sex scene, could be a hetero sex scene.
Right.
Like, yo, if I'm watching something, I'm closing my kids' eyes. Like I tell my older daughter, like, yo, you better turn your head. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. And Kyle's like, what's going on? What's going on? He's trying to get through the hands. But at least I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I think sometimes it gets pushed out there. I see why people get a little ticked off about it though.
Right.
Honestly.
In sports, like we both play sports, you know, we both been around sports. I think sports is like a whole different level of sports. I think sports is one of the toughest arena to. I mean, it's a toxic area.
It's based off toxic masculinity.
Absolutely,
120%.
And it's just like, you know, people are calling people gay as an insult. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, oh, the way you threw the ball was gay, and you know, whatever the case is, and like that makes it tough for a person playing that may be, you know, gay or maybe wondering about things that makes it like
they're
tough.
not sure about themselves. It makes them tough. Y'all got a true story. I ain't gonna say no names though, but I found out that a guy that I used to play ball with, this is basketball. I found out that he was gay. He can't I found out like kind of on accident. Like, yeah, we talking, whatever, blah, blah, blah. See something, boom. Like, oh, what's that? Boom, boom, boom. Like, yo, that's your friend. And I'm like, oh, nah, they together. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I thought about, damn, imagine when he was in high school and no one knew that.
Yeah.
How much stuff was going on that we in the locker room together. So we saying certain things, the people saying certain things. How did he feel? And this is basketball. And football is a whole different
oh, yeah.
Style. Like football, like, because that's
football,
like
wrestling.
Right. Yo, but imagine how those dudes felt in that arena when they were in high school, whatever they were, or in college or whatever they were at, not being themselves. Yeah. That's crazy.
Thinking like John Amici, right? So
yeah.
Played for the Orlando Magic, came out after. Same with Collins, right?
Yeah.
The one Collins twin. I mean, like you said, that's the epitome of toxic masculinity.
Like you can't
seriously when you can't even be yourself in a locker room. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, and it's funny. I was telling you the story about the WNBA. The story was the totally opposite way. Like the one girl, I forgot her name, but she was like saying she was bullied because she wasn't gay.
Yeah, people got mad about that too. They said like, yo, she's lying. I'm like, yo, that's someone's perspective, right? So that's my perspective. Right. So I'm glad she talked about that. But how many people out there that don't have that? They can't say how they felt. But yo, kind of bugged me out when I found out. I'm like, yo, that's what I think in my head. I'm like, yo, did I see something back in the day? I kind of had an idea, but dude was just really quiet. It was real cool, but like I kind of had an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like something, I kind of thought something, but I was like, whatever. And you younger, I didn't care about that. It wasn't on my radar. But I'm like, damn, now
But
he
at
finally
that,
came out.
but that age in our era, you're not even thinking of that being a possibility, being like part of a toxic zone, I should say. That like you're probably not even fathoming like why no one will be playing sports if they were gay, right?
Yeah, you're thinking like, yo, yeah, you're not thinking that somebody on your football team
He'd be a
possibly is.
he'd be a cheerleader, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Your thought process, and that goes back to toxic masculinity, right? Your thought process on what a gay individual is all warped. Like you're thinking like, yo, he'll be a cheerleader, right? Nah, maybe he might be the quarterback. He might be nice. Like you don't know anything.
Think about the kid. I can't think of his Gordon. He played at St. Pat's. He played at he ended up where did he play first? He ended up transferring at Seton Hall. Kid from Plainfield went to St. Pat's. He came out like his senior year. He ended up playing at Seton Hall. He's Division I player. He was cooking people all of high school, cooking people in college, and I think right before he transferred, I think he had like a grad season at Seton Hall. Let me get his name. Hold up.
He came out and said, which is good for him though, but it's sad that he had to wait that long or hide that. Maybe he didn't know, whatever. Who knows? But
Derrick Gordon.
Yeah, who the hell is that?
Derrick
Why am I
Gordon.
drawing a blank? I gotta look that up later.
He played at he transferred to Seton Hall as a
who he played for before Seton Hall?
Western Kentucky. Played in the tournament.
What year was this, yo? A couple years ago or like back in the day?
He's 29 now.
Oh, so it's like about 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, around there. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the team with Kyrie and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Oh, where?
Yeah. He started on that team.
All right.
Yeah, so he was tough, but like I don't know. I didn't get the whole story. I don't know why he didn't come out of high school, but I'm pretty sure that's part of it.
Pretty sure we know why. Like you can't be playing right. You can't be playing that. Like the thought process, us in high school is totally different than as a grown man.
Right.
Like you'll be like, you'll be ostracized like that if you came out. You have to be one strong individual, like totally, really, really strong and have a strong support system. But it's gonna happen, man. Yeah. I mean, within that team atmosphere, because like it's built off of that, built on how tough you are, this, that, and your thought process of someone that is gay at the time is like, yo, they're not strong. Like he's not strong enough to play with me, or he's too weak, or whatever, whatever.
But he'll cook you.
But yeah, but in your mind, you don't care. So what's gonna happen? He's gonna have to prove himself every day. It's gonna be a physical confrontation now. Now it's not basketball no more. Now it's gonna be the toxic masculinity gonna kick in with people around him. They're gonna be like, yo, all right, they're gonna hit him harder. Like, imagine you coming out and you're a high school running back. Just say you come out and everybody you start and everybody know it. So every team you playing against know it. Everybody on your team know it.
Every time you get tackled, they saying something
to you. They throwing dirt in your eyes. They clawing at you. They giving you cheap shots. Yo, kids don't want to go to that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, yo, I come out after this, man. I can't. I can control my environment. Right. I can't control my environment right now, so I ain't messing with it.
Yep. And then it's crazy with music. I think I think music is the opposite way now. I listen to like some old lock stuff.
Ridiculous.
Where like I'm like, yo, you would never be able to say that word. You know which word I'm talking about too.
Oh yeah, in the 90s rap, early 2090s rap,
right?
X'd out.
Some of the stuff that you would never be able to say now, like your record would be like off streaming services that same day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I think music kind of fell back because not that people don't have thoughts about certain things, but like people are not risking losing a fan base.
It's money now. It's money now. They want money.
Exactly. So I think music has changed as far as like what rappers or I mean anybody. I'm sure I don't know all genres, but I'm sure things were said in rock songs or other places as well. So I think people are real careful with what they say as far as like now they still may be toxic, and you know what? They're still some of them are still toxic based on like just think of like Uncle Luke. Right? Uncle Luke.
Uncle Luke, man.
Two Live Crew, all anybody that made any type of music like that.
But you gotta think about it though. Is it really toxic? If I'm making music and you happen to like it or whatever it is, and then I have women dancing to it by choice, like not like I'm making you dance, like you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like,
I don't even mean
really
that.
toxic? You mean just the lyrics are toxic?
The lyrics. I mean, if you degrading women for whatever reason or not, like some people aren't going to make that music because they live with their mother, and they live with their mother. They think highly of their mother, and they wouldn't want their mother to even hear that.
True.
So on the strength of that, then you get somebody that like, yo, I grew up in a foster home. You know what I'm saying?
Or you get somebody that say, yo, mom, I'll get this bag. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that too.
The mom's like, all right, and she's number one fan.
Right. Or someone may be like, yo, my mom was never there. She was a crackhead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Now it's not their fault that their mother did that, but that doesn't make it not toxic.
But do you think toxic masculinity made some of the best music?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I mean,
arguably, I'll say, right?
I mean, we like 90s rap, right? I mean, I think we both agree. We both agree that's the best era of music. So sure, R&B too, for that matter.
For real, they make you go commit a crime.
Yeah. So I mean, like, even the part I don't even mean the great woman. It's just like, talking about being the toughest guy. Yeah,
like punching up to get beat down.
Yeah,
that's toxic masculinity right there. Because really, you talk about. I think my man Sadat said he was like on the train. Someone was talking, blah 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 blah. Like something happened on the train, and then he knocked somebody out. Like you know what I'm saying? But it's the part that we feel we have to. That's like in our
Onyx.
Nature. Yeah, Onyx. Yeah,
I mean, that's the epitome of like tough guy, right? Tough guy music.
Word Onyx. Who else we got? Even it's crazy, right? Because think about like people like Jay made like a 360 almost in music wise, right? So you think about like in the 90s, it was toxic stuff we was talking about. Even go to the big pimping phase, champagne on the chicks, stuff like that, just that and the third. Minute what's the joint with the Minutemen joint with Ludacris is on that? I forgot. Missy?
Oh, 1 Minute Man.
1 Minute Man. Like stuff Jay was totally different. Then he changed it.
Yeah, did a 180.
Not too many people can do that though. Like can just change it up. You know what I mean?
Well, some people don't have the longevity. He has to do it.
True. Most people got like a 4-year run, like high school.
Yeah, you can't do a 180 after your first album. They're like, yo, who is this guy?
Like, who is this guy's guy?
Yeah, like it's gotta be. It's gotta be word. It's gotta be gradual. Then you like Mace. Just doing a complete 180. You're like, yo, who is this guy?
What's going on?
You know what I'm saying? He did a 180 like 3 different times.
Yeah, Mace is different. But toxic masculinity with music though. I mean, I think it's always gonna be around. But then they changed it now. Now it's like just like ignorance with certain things. Like I think now it's like it's not toxic masculinity. It's just like almost like stupidity. Or like let me do something outside the box. It's more about views. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's different. It's not like about it's not really about the music. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't care about like what they're saying for the most part. Some people, it's more like yo, let's get this money. Let's shock value. What's the shock value thing we can do? Let's do the Lil Nas extras that he's doing. Right. Let's do that. It's gonna give me views and I'm gonna get money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of like, at least toxic masculinity, we can kind of say we know what it is. It's new stuff, we don't know what it is. Like, yo, I don't know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole era. It's a whole era of people. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to get a quick bag, right?
Word. That Old Town Road money ran out.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Bro, I'm telling you.
They say he had the biggest hit ever, yeah.
Yo, you know who's in the pockets, man?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, as far as like business wise, like who, when someone, it's not just you, so it's like not just management, it's people in that the record label, this, that, and the third. Who knows? Pretty sure he's well off. He should be, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. So just thoughts moving forward. So I got a couple things. I think I gotta do my part and just watching what I'm doing. I mean, I don't think I'm a bad father. I don't anybody think that.
You're a bad pops.
Yeah, but I think you just got to be more cognizant on like pacing yourself as far as like, you know, what's going on. Like you can't get on a 15-year-old the same way you get on a 5-year-old, or you know, it's got to be gradual. I think you got a total line between like prepping your kids for the real world and real life situations versus that other than like, you know, giving them an opportunity to feel. I think I put my son to bed every night, like tell him I love him every night, kiss him, you know, give him all that. So I think like, you know, you got to do things with that, like that, in addition to like yelling at him too.
Oh yeah, you have
Right.
levels to it. You gotta have even kill with it, man. You gotta give that tough love when you need to, but then also know when to hug.
Right.
Say like it's all right to cry or you know, talk to him.
And I said, and like I was saying, ever since I saw the Doc's video, so shout out to Docs. Ever since I saw that, I try to like, even if I catch myself, like, what's going on? Because that what's wrong, that's something that we naturally say, right?
Yeah, what's wrong? What happened? Like, what's going on?
That's what you should say. That's you could even say that. What's going on?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
What's wrong puts a negative connotation on things, and it's like, I don't know. We learning like everybody else is. Like this whole internet thing, and not that I don't blame everything on the internet, but it's like everything's a new era that we need to adjust to, and even raising kids,
especially now. I think the kids now have a lot of things going on that even we didn't have to worry about when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? Even their age, like a lot of stuff is going on, a lot of moving parts. I know what I think we could do for it. I look at toxic masculinity like systemic racism, right? Yo, it's not gonna go away quick, right? So what we have to do is start building the future for the kids now, right? So us, every parent, right? So, you know, even if some things are outside the norm that you are used to, you gotta kind of be accepting to different things, right? So you need to understand and evolve on how you parent, you know, listen to your kids. Because at the end of the day, the main goal that you want is for your kid to be happy. Like, and that's one thing that I took away. I saw Dwayne Wade talking about this, and everyone was coming out his neck, you know, for, oh, he's a horrible father. Like, what are you doing? You know, that's a whole different show. But, you know, basically saying like, yo, how you gonna let your son do that or whatever, right? And he's like, yo, I didn't understand that. Like, I really didn't understand it, but I was trying to do everything for her. I know when it was a son.
Right.
I was giving him a ball. He didn't want the ball. I was telling him to do push-ups. He didn't want to do push-ups. He said, I'm doing everything. I'm doing my other kids or my other son. Sorry, and I also was doing what was done to me by my uncles. He wanted no parts of that. So I knew maybe something was going on, but I didn't know. But he said at the end of the day, when she came to me and said what she wanted to do, what's my job as a parent to do? I gotta learn, gotta support it, and I gotta learn.
Yeah, it's not a crime.
Yeah, I gotta learn what, you know, this is all about, because it's all new territory. But be an open parent. So I commend him for even doing that, right? To say, you know what? At the end of the day, it's my kid's happiness. I don't care about what anyone else thinks. It's about her being happy. And the thing about it is that a lot of kids are hurting themselves, committing suicide because they can't talk to someone about that stuff.
Right.
So if you can't talk to your parent about it, who are you going to talk to?
Yeah. He did the opposite of toxic masculinity.
Exactly. He did the total opposite of it. And he's coming from a toxic environment, not just when he grew up, but as far as like being an NBA player, being in the locker room where it's all type of homosexual stuff being said and thrown around. So he had to change his whole mindset to think that. So I think that's what we have to do, is watch what we say, watch what we do, watch how we act. And I think if we do that with our kids and put that seed, male and female, when they have their kids, it'll already playing in them, and that'll help change everything. So it's not going to happen like in 10 years or 15 years. It's going to take a while for it to happen. So social norms will change. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's why it's changing, because that's why you see so many trans and openly gay
at young ages.
kids,
Yeah,
young
definitely.
ages, in high schools and stuff like that. And this kind of, it's not taboo like it was even when we was in school. It wasn't really taboo when we was in school, but we didn't see it as much. It was more hidden. Now it's like, it's not hidden at all. Like, yo, the kids out there holding hands, doing whatever they doing.
Yep.
So I think it's changing. So I think that's what we got to do.
Oh, well, thank y'all for joining us. Be very, very interested to hear feedback. So
definitely
hit us up, comments or whatever. YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at the Great Minds Podcast, on Twitter at the Great Minds P1, and like I said, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Appreciate y'all.
Definitely want to hear that feedback.
Yep. Appreciate y'all checking in. Year
Next
2,
time.
we rolling.
Yep, keep it going.
Great minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. Let's rock. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. 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 Derrick and Vaughn, oh boy, like Cam on a song. Culture safe now, thank God. The panic is gone. Time to heal from the pain. Take the bandages off. You gotta win. The stakes are high like a cannabis bomb. Okay, it's game time. Picture with the balls. That's a FaceTime. Great minds spreading faster than a rumor through the grapevine. Vaughn and Derrick, deserve the merit. All salute. It's more than just a podcast. Show it's like a movie. Vaughn and Derrick, what up? Great minds think alike. It's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. It's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. It's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast.